So day 2 of the NFL draft has come to an end. The Chiefs only had one selection in round 2 at pick 40. They took R. Mason Thomas. Here's the no BS real breakdown of R. Mason Thomas, how he fits for the Chiefs, and how we grade day 2. If you find any value to the video, do your boys a favor, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
So for the first time in the Mahomes era, the Chiefs have used their first 3 picks exclusively on defense. After taking Mansour Delane at pick number 6 with the trade up, the Chiefs grabbed Peter Woods at 29, and tonight they got the edge rusher at pick number 40, Steve. They stayed put. They drafted R. Mason Thomas, edge out of Oklahoma. What do you think about him?
Love R. Mason Thomas. This guy's 6'2", 241 pounds. He's a little undersized for a traditional defensive end, but he has a 4.67 40-yard dash, which is pretty good. Not quite elite on that, but he does have elite burst. He finished with 17 sacks in college, 25.5 tackles for loss. I think this kid is a kind of that tweener build, but he has a legit production and juice. I actually like the pick a lot. I've been wanting the Chiefs to get a speed rusher, somebody with some bend and some pop. We've been needing that for so long. I've been pounding the table for it at least since Nick Benito was in the draft, and we finally got one.
Yeah, there's some heavy speculation that Brett Veach might look at pick 40 and decide to trade back to get back some of that draft capital he lost in the Mansour Delane move, but they didn't do that. They chose to stay at pick 40, and they wanted some juice off the edge, and that's what R. Mason Thomas actually gives them. He's a lot different than Steve Spagnuolo typical defenders. He's only about 240 pounds. He's 6'2". That is a far cry from the Spags mode, typical Spags defender that we've all been talking about. I think that talking point kind of has been put to bed this year and last year with Ashton Gillotte. So look, Thomas is a twitch machine. He was my number 11 edge rusher. He was my number 54 player overall. So I think the Chiefs reached on him just a little bit. But let me tell you something. I'm not the end-all be-all with my top 100. That's just me in my eyes. The Chiefs may have seen something totally different. They obviously did see something totally different, that Spags changed everything he was doing to go get him. And look, the thing is if Peter Woods was the freight train that we drafted in round 1, then Thomas is the sports car. He's going to win with that elite bend. He's got a relentless motor. It just don't stop running. He's a white-hot motor coming off the edge, man. I like it. I think he can dip and rip. He's got natural leverage, and he makes life miserable for tall tackles. I just hope he can set the edge and be on the field during the running downs, or he's not going to be able to develop that pass rush game at the next level.
He does struggle to set the edge because of his size, but let's talk about what he's good at, getting after the freaking passer. This kid has an explosive first step. He's exactly the epitome of what a speed rusher would be. He wins with burst and bend off the edge, and it's elite, man. His ability to attack from the arc is insane. I love the way that he plays. He's got that closing speed that we've been missing. You'll see George Karlaftis getting after the quarterback a lot, and you just can't get there sometimes. You're not going to see that with R. Mason Thomas. This kid has crazy closing speed, and he knows how to flatten a quarterback. He can string together his speed and occasional power moves from time to time. He knows how to rush the quarterback. He's not just a great athlete or just really fast, but he also knows how to rush the passer. He's got quite the arsenal. I really like what he offers to the team, and just that pursuit speed, like I said, that stands out to me, and the way he finishes plays consistently. I think the Chiefs are going to love this kid if they give him the chance he deserves.
Right. Look, he's got a compact build. But he's pound for pound. He's a brawler. I think he anchors better against the run than maybe his frame suggests. But he lined up all over the Sooners line. He's even got experience dropping into coverage, spot dropping back there. Look, if I can find some cons, it's going to be this. He had back-to-back seasons with high ankle sprains, one on each leg. That's the primary red flag there. I think he lacks prototypical NFL height and length. He's only got about 31 and 5/8 inch arms, and they're significantly below what league average would be for that position. Like, it's just, that's the way it is. I think he needs to expand his bag a little bit, his finesse moves. He's got to get beyond his top 2 to 3 go-to options to avoid being swallowed up by those big-time tackles and blockers at the next level. Here's the thing, though. He's fascinating. It's a fascinating curveball pick by Steve Spagnuolo, for real.
Yeah.
Historically, Spags just prefers those big-body, heavy-handed guys like Karlaftis. At 241 pounds, he's just an atypical fit for that mold. But I tell you, I think that this year they're looking for situational speed. He's a stunt weapon. As you noted, he's got elite change of direction. He's going to be able to loop around the inside, stunt behind Chris Jones or Peter Woods. He's going to have free runs at the QB. He's a designated pass rusher on 3rd and long. There's just so many things he's going to be able to do. And I actually heard that the Chiefs, it was reported that their war room was enamored with his relentlessness on film. Like, that's something, and they don't think he's reached his ceiling yet. So the consensus among scouts is that he's just a bendy pass rusher who's going to get after it over and over. And Brett Veach said himself he wants players who hunt, and Thomas has a 17.5% pressure rate at Oklahoma. So he does just that. He hunts the quarterback.
Yeah, well, I think this is the beginning of a philosophical shift for the Spagnuolo defense. I think you've tried to see them flirt with speed rushers for a minute. They brought in Josh Uche. They also went to Ashton Gillotte, who's kind of a in-between type guy. He's more George Karlaftis, but he also has a lot more speed than George Karlaftis, and he's a little undersized for what Spags normally has. And then he just went ahead and went all for it with R. Mason Thomas here. And what does he offer the team? Right off the rip, he's at least a situational pass rusher that can get out there on 3rd down and be a specialist, right? If he can get his run game in check and maybe set the edge a little bit better than we expect, he can be on the field more, and then I think he can progress and become a bigger piece to the defense. But right off the rip, man, I think this guy is a guy that's going to come in situationally. He could be in some NASCAR packages, stuff like that, and he's going to be able to contribute right off the bat. And it brings a lot of juice to the defense the Chiefs have been lacking for so long. And I think it's exciting, man. I absolutely love it. I think that he's going to be a situational weapon short term, long term. It really just depends on his development in the run game.
Yeah, let's jump right into PrizePicks. Let's go ahead and do a lineup for tonight really quickly. If you haven't downloaded PrizePicks, get over there, download that, check the description, use code HMA. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and pick some basketball. I'm going to go Marcus Smart with over 5.5 assists, and I'm going to go Kevin Durant over 24 points. And let's go ahead and play Tyrese Maxey over 19.5 points. We'll bet $1, and we're done for the night. If you haven't downloaded PrizePicks, go ahead and do that. Again, use code HMA. Steve, let's get back to the draft, man. Yeah, I'm going to give this a grade of a B. I like the idea that Spags, they're kind of changing the philosophy a little bit. Again, this is the first time in the Mahomes era that they've used their first 3 picks exclusively on defense. So they want somebody that's going to get after the passer, somebody who can stop on 3rd and 4th down, be that on the back end or the front end getting after the passer. I think Thomas uses that low center of gravity to win a leverage battle. That's the way he's going to beat those big tackles. But I'm going to be really honest with everybody. I don't know if it's going to be a home run here. He's got a lot working against him, be it from setting the edge to not being Spags' prototypical guy, to not being able to maybe stop the run a lot. And look, even those high ankle sprains, that could be a little bit of a risk. I don't know if I can call him a pure home run or anything like that, but I do see him at a high level. Maybe he gets to where he needs to go. I comped him to D Ford. Maybe he can get to that 10 sacks per year, but I'm not going to really hold my breath here. I don't know. I want him to succeed. I really do, but I just can't be sure. I've got to give it a B until I see how they're going to be able to use him and if he's going to be able to hold up versus those big tackles in the NFL.
Yeah, I also give the grade a B on R. Mason Thomas. I think they addressed the pass rush need. They added some explosiveness to that front, and they took a swing on the upside, so you can't knock them for that. However, he's not exactly a perfect scheme fit, and they're still missing a true every down edge that I think this team needs to acquire, so they might be looking to double dip. I would say final verdict for day 2, though, I would push Brett Veach probably down to a C to C minus for the simple fact that he gave away his 74 pick to go up and get Mansour Delane in the first round, because there were a lot of really good players that could be impact players for the Chiefs, like Chris Bell, who went at pick 94. We could have had him. You could have maybe, I don't know what's going on with Jermod McCoy, but it can't be that damn bad. If he don't even play for the next year and a half, you could have got him at great value. There were lots of things that could have happened if Brett Veach would have kept his draft capital. And I understand they wanted Mansour Delane, and I think he's a great player. But I think just overall, day 2 could have been a lot more lucrative for the Chiefs if they were more careful with that draft capital.
Absolutely. The Chiefs could have got some big-time players, but they didn't have the draft capital. And look, this has been a really weird draft. It seems like somewhere in the mid-second round, everybody just went off the rails, got drunk, started throwing darts at their board. It's been the most reaches I've ever seen. There's been a lot of talent that had fell down to a nice spot. But look, the Chiefs are going to pick 109. We'll see what happens. I think they've got to go after an offensive weapon right now. It could be Reggie Virgil because Mahomes might want him. Could be Deion Burks if they want to double dip back to the Oklahoma Sooners. I like both of those guys. We'll have to see what they do, but I think it's got to be an offensive player here.
Yeah, guys, be excited about R. Mason Thomas. He's different. I think he's good. I think Hassan Reddick, that's kind of my pro comp for him. Maybe he could come in here and really light some quarterbacks on fire because God knows we need it. The Chiefs have been pretty stagnant at rushing the passer for the last year or two, so maybe it'll be a good change. Appreciate y'all being here. Do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you found any value in this video, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern time to start watching this day 3 of the draft, live streaming the entire thing. Come hang out. We'll see you then. Go Chiefs.